Hey guys, welcome back to Mesha's Corner. Okay, so today we're gonna make a white lasagna, and yeah, so here goes. Basically, the most chopping you're gonna do is what I'm about to show you right here. I'm not chopping anything else besides the cheese, of course, but hey. So I have some chopped scallion or green onion, whichever one you want to call it. I have some chopped fresh basil. I have a whole onion right here. A whole onion, which we're going to use half in the meat and the other half will be in the white sauce. This is a whole head of garlic chopped and yellow peppers, sweet peppers chopped. You can use whichever color you choose. This is the color I'm using. So also you can mix up the herbs if you like, but I like basil in my lasagna. So here we go. The meat I'm using is ground chuck, 80/20. You can use whatever you want. You want to use sausage, chorizo, whatever, it doesn't matter. But this is what I'm using. Okay, here we go. We have the meat in the pot, so we're just gonna break this up. Get it all seared. I have this on very high heat because I don't want the meat to boil. I want it to sear instead of boil. So make sure your pot is like screaming hot, as hot as you could tolerate. And yeah, we're gonna break this meat up. We're gonna add the veggies and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so while the meat is browning, we're gonna work on the ricotta filling. This is just, how much is this? This is a 15-ounce tub. This is a 15-ounce tub of ricotta that I put in my measuring cup. I'm just using it. It's not, nothing's measured. I'm just using it. And to this, we're gonna add oregano, 1 egg, and red pepper flakes. Just a tiny bit for the heat. We have enough going on in the meat, so we don't need to add that in there. Just gonna add the oregano in here. It's about a tablespoon. I season everything. Then we're gonna crack an egg. Salt, about a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of pepper. And that's it. Okay, and I'll be right back. We're gonna get back to our meat and add our veggies. Mix this up and put this back in the refrigerator because we're going to use this later on. Now, I just put the yellow peppers in, the fresh basil, the scallions, and half of the onions. Again, we're going to use the other half in our white Parmesan sauce. Yeah, so we're just going to stir this up, get it all incorporated, just like that. Get it all incorporated. And after this cook for about a couple more minutes so the vegetables could soften, then I'm going to add garlic powder, black pepper, and yeah, that's about it. Because again, it's a lot of fresh basil in here and all the layers are going to be seasoned and flavored with herbs and spices, so you don't want to overdo it. You don't want all your herbs, spices, and seasonings in just one area. When it all comes together, it will be just perfect. So don't push it with the salt, don't push it with seasonings, because all layers will be seasoned correctly. Okay, so we're gonna let this cook for a couple of more minutes, and then we're gonna start on our white Parmesan sauce. Now I have about, I would say this is about 3 tablespoons of butter melting. And remember that onion from earlier? The other half, we're going to add it in. We're going to add all of it in here. And all of the garlic. Yes, all of it. It looks like a lot, but again, this is why I don't use a lot of seasoning, powdered seasoning, and everything else, because everything put together will have a strong flavor. We're going to let this go for about, until everything's translucent or softened, I should say. While these cook, down a little bit. We're gonna add about 1/3 of a cup of flour. I'm gonna go by batches. I shouldn't go past 1/3 of a cup. Shouldn't. But I have 1/3 of a cup on hand. So I'm gonna sprinkle as I go to make sure all the vegetables are coated with flour. And then we're gonna add our milk. And when everything thicken up, you know, then we add our cheeses. Our water is boiling for our pasta. I'm gonna salt the water. Please salt your water. I can't stress this enough. Please salt your pasta water. It's very necessary. Do not skip this step. And then I'm gonna add all my pasta. Hopefully it'll fit. Okay, I did that wrong, but whatever. Get all your pasta in the water. I'm using the pound box. I'm using a whole pound of pasta. Yeah, just 1 pound. Which should be enough. I'm not making a big pan of lasagna, so it's not necessary to use. And I'm making a mess. Anyway, so now we're gonna get back to our bechamel. Okay, our vegetables are brown. Now we're gonna start drizzling in our flour. This is a 1/4 cup. I mean my 1/3 cup, but I'm gonna start with half. See, we didn't need it. So I'm guessing half of 1/3 of a cup of flour. And we're gonna let this cook through for a couple of minutes. This, by the way, is called a roux. Flour and fat is a roux. Whether you use oil or butter, it's the oil, it's a fat and a flour that makes a roux. I'm gonna continue cooking this just for a couple of minutes, and then we're gonna add our milk and keep stirring till it thickens. Our sauce has thickened. After about 10 minutes or so, it should look like this. Not too thick where you can't stir, but just thick enough. Okay, at this point, we're gonna add pepper. Well, black pepper, fresh, whichever pepper you want to use. I'm using black pepper. A tiny bit of salt, not too much because the cheese has a lot of salt. Now we're gonna add our Italian mix, which is provolone, Asiago, Parmesan, and Romano. And we're gonna add it in here. That was a 8-ounce package, or you could grate your own, it doesn't matter. At this point, you turn your stove off and just allow the cheese to melt. And just stir it in. But cut your stove off. You don't want to boil this cheese. Make sure your stove is off after when you add this cheese. As a matter of fact, you need to turn it off before you put the cheese in, but either way, just cut your stove off. Stir this in, remove it from the heat, and set it to the side. Cheesy goodness. And this is going to be the white sauce that's going to hold everything together, along with our ricotta mix. On the bottom of my aluminum pan, I have the cheese sauce that we just made. This right here. Remember this? We put a little smear on the bottom of the pan. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm probably gonna use only 3 layers for each one. After I drain my noodles, I don't like it being wet like that, so I always put it in a bowl on paper towel before I actually use it in my dish. Now we're gonna layer the meat. Oh no, I need to get we almost forgot about the ricotta. So I had to go and get it out the refrigerator. We're just gonna take it out, and it's gonna just go across each strip. Remember we added that egg and seasoning, so it's pliable at this point. So the egg helped us out. So we're just gonna apply it on all three liberally. Now that we added the ricotta, all right, we're gonna pour this in because I don't think the spoon is gonna do what it's supposed to do right now. It's pretty cheesy. That spoon is not helping me. Spread your cheese sauce out. Matter of fact, I don't know why I'm calling this a cheese sauce. It's a bechamel. It's a Parmesan bechamel. We're gonna add this. Not too much. Okay, so that's layer number 1. So I'm gonna repeat these steps about 2 more times, and then I'll be right back. This is what it looks like when it comes out the oven. I took it out after 45 minutes and I added some chopped basil and extra mozzarella cheese. This is the white lasagna, my way. This is a big slice, but anyway, it looks delicious. I tasted it, I loved it. I served it alongside a spinach salad with mandarins, raisins, and almonds. You don't have to do that. Do what you want, but I wanted a salad. So this is white lasagna. Enjoy. Subscribe and like and share.